Hello everyone, today is Saturday, August the 11th, 2018, and this is day number 6 of the Old Fiddlers Convention. But before I go into work, I really wanted to go in and see the Antique Car Museum, also known as Old Crank's Motocar Museum and Ice Cream Shop. Everything ends tonight, and then we've got to be leaving early Sunday morning, so this is really my last chance to see it. So let's go on in, see what they got. So the museum being called Crank's Museum, is that because of the manual cranks? Like these cars, did a lot of them take the manual crank?
Well, it's kind of a double meaning. It means that there are 3 people who are cranky that own it, and then it also the cranks that started the cars.
Oh. What was your name?
I'm Tom.
Tom, okay. And you're one of the owners?
Yes, I'm Cranky Tom.
You're Cranky Tom. Okay.
The electric car came from Manassas.
Electric car? That's an electric car?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I had heard there was antique electric cars. I'd never seen one. 1917. Wow. And about how far would it go on a charge?
Well, they advertised it would go an 80-mile journey if the batteries were fresh and fully charged, and it had a top speed of 25.
That's a lot of batteries. Top speed of 25. Wow.
This is where you set to drive. Right here.
This is where you sat to drive?
Yeah, this is your steering, this is your throttle.
And the passenger sat right here facing the driver?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's called parlor seating, so you can talk to each other.
That's a concept wow. Okay.
That's where the term backseat driver came from.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought it just came from people in the back seat thinking they knew better how to drive.
It evolved into that, but this is where it really got started. And it wasn't necessarily a derogatory comment at the time.
Oh. What about this wooden one over here? What can you tell me about that?
Well, that evolved from a bicycle company, which was the Orient Bicycle Company. And that's an Orient bicycle hanging up there.
That's an Orient bicycle, and then they started making these.
Yeah.
Wow. There's only one handle there. How do they, control the oil pressure and stuff like that?
You have to manually pump oil into it.
You have to yeah.
That's what the brass pump is.
Oh, that's this brass pump right over here.
Back on the backside.
The backside, back here. You have to reach back there and pump it?
Yeah, about every 3 or 4 miles.
Wow. Huh.
It has a tiller steering.
A tiller steering. Just like your... Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
Now the bicycles, both of those are shaftless, are chainless shaft-driven bicycles.
Chainless shaft driven? How does that work?
Well, it's like a drive shaft instead of having a chain to the rear wheel.
Oh. Wow, I didn't even know that existed.
It was a short period, about 4 or 5 years they did that.
Okay.
And the strings on the one on the left were to keep the ladies' skirts from getting in the spokes of the wheel.
Really?
Because they wouldn't have been wearing shorts or pants in those days.
Yeah.
1899.
And this right here, this looks like a carriage, just like a regular carriage, just no horses, and instead there's a motor there.
Well, you have to remember that the carriages came before automobiles.
Right,
and,
yeah.
A lot of them just basically evolved and put engines on buggies. It has a solid rubber tire, which was very buggy-like, and it was chain-driven.
Uh-huh.
It had a 2-cylinder engine.
Now, how many of these can actually still run?
All the ones in this room, except for that one, I have had running. I've never gotten that one running.
Really? So if you put like oil and gas in these and worked at them a little bit, a lot of them would start up. That's amazing. Wow. And this all wooden one over here. Little 4-cylinder.
That was called a depot hack or a station wagon, which they used to take people from the train station to the hotels. That's where we get the word station wagon today.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to walk on down the line a little bit more here. Now this looks sporty right here. The Saxon, 1914. Looks similar to those old race cars they used to race back in those days.
That one has a crank.
Oh, and it's got the actual manual crank on it. Yeah. I remember I was watching Jay Leno's Garage, and he was showing how to crank those, and he said you always hold your thumb in. Because if it starts up and...
Yeah, you want to get your thumb like this. You don't want to grab it like this. You want to basically cup it like that.
Right. Similar to starting up a...
And these have crank holes, but the crank is detached.
Oh, yeah, there's one right there. You can see it right in there. It's a little crank hole. Oh, and then that one has a little flap on it that you open?
Yeah, whichever way it goes. And then this one, all these all have cranks also.
Oh, that's a little stiff. Okay. And this one, oh, there's another crank hole. That's what that is.
Yeah, that one's just on a little pivot.
Huh. Nice. This is an old Ford. 1931. Ford, of course, being known for starting the assembly line. See, originally this was $550. About how much would that be, like, accounting for inflation today?
Probably $20,000 or so.
$20,000. Wow. Boy.
It was about a fourth of the average income.
A fourth? Boy, people were really sinking a lot of money into their cars back then. So only about 35 of these left. This is the Templar. And you said they only made about 7,000 of them altogether? Wow. So what was so special about this that they made so few of them? Were they just real expensive?
They're very expensive. I mean,
they were like
a 23 Model T for about $400, and this was about $2,500. So
oh, okay.
I mean, it came with a camera, it came with a compass, it came with a...
It came with a camera? Where was the camera mounted?
On the dashboard.
Is it up there? Can you see it?
This one doesn't have it.
That one doesn't have one?
And there were options, but it has a transmission mounted or driven air compressor that's under the seat with a hose that'll reach all four tires.
Okay.
You can put air in it. And this one is an unusual one in that the body has artificial leather on it instead of paint. That's what that brown stuff is.
That's artificial leather.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh. And there was a hose that underneath the seat that could fill up air in all four tires.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's neat. And so what was the camera for exactly? Was that just you could take pictures occasionally?
Just for the owners to take pictures as they chose to.
It wasn't like our dash cams nowadays, right? Where it's just for insurance
it was a
purposes.
Kodak camera.
Just the Kodak took still pictures. Are those original wooden rims?
Yes.
What about that contraption up there on the handlebars? Is that a horn? A light?
That is a carbide lamp.
Carbine lamp. So you could light it.
Right. You got a little toolbox behind the seat.
Oh, that's okay. That little toolbox back there. Yes, you probably had to adjust the spokes a lot or something.
But that company was started by Thomas Jeffries, who also converted bicycling into the Rambler automobile. And Charles Nash, who made the Nash automobile, bought the Rambler company, and it became the Nash Rambler.
It's just, that's amazing to me that it doesn't have a chain. It's running by a piston. 1981, French Citroen. Cheap and simple. Could probably take the whole thing apart with a single ratchet kit, right?
It wouldn't take much.
It's
very lightweight. It's only about
wrench.
1,100 pounds. Everything's so thin, so they don't have roll-up windows. They've got the ones that fold up. Top folds all the way back.
That's your budget car right there.
It is.
2 cylinders, 55 miles an hour, right?
And about 50 miles to the gallon.
50 miles to the gallon. That's wow, that's good. This is the Stanley Steamer. What year is this one?
It's a 1919.
1919. This was basically the same kind of technology they would use on their trains, but shrunk down and put underneath the hood of a car. This is the boiler here. Was this the kind that had the condenser where you could recycle the condensers over here?
Yeah, just like a radiator.
So that gave it a lot longer range to it. But you've driven this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really quiet when you drive it because there's no like piston sounds. It's all very quiet. and all the torque goes directly into the tires. It's direct drive. Your acceleration is controlled by how much steam you put through it. So fascinating, very, very fascinating. This was very common before the internal explosion engine, as they Stanley Steamer like to call them.
This is your main jet. The steam line right here.
Okay.
And this is your throttle. You have a way of locking it down so it won't take off on its own.
Okay, so that's the throttle. There, it's spring loaded.
Yeah, you can
Give
feed
it
as
more.
much gas, steam as you want to, and then when you're finished, you lock it down so it couldn't accidentally take off, because once it has a full head of steam, then it's like a loaded gun, and all you got to do is pull the trigger, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. And the pedals. If the acceleration was over here, what are the pedals for?
This is called a hookup, and this shortens the throw of the pistons.
Okay.
Once you get going, you lock it down like that.
Okay.
Then you unlock it. When you stop,
Oh.
this is your brake. This is a regular service brake.
Oh, okay. And this handle right here?
This one,
Yes.
that pumps up air into your fuel, so you get pressure on your fuel.
Okay.
Once you get moving, it's an automatic, but before you do that, you have to pump it up by hand.
All right. So to get this thing started, you put a lot of water into the boiler, and then you got. Is there a wood fire that you have to start?
No, you've got a 40-gallon water tank under the car.
Okay.
And this is a 23-inch boiler. So the first thing you do is you start the pilot flame, which is run by Coleman fuel, and let that burn for about 15 minutes if it's a cold start. And that heats up all the tubing for your kerosene for your main burner. And once you light the main burner, it takes about another 15 minutes to get about 600 pounds of steam.
Okay.
And the main burner will cycle on and off based on the pressure. At 600 it'll cut off, and at 525 it'll turn back on.
So the water is heated entirely by, you said, Coleman fuel.
That's the pilot.
Yeah. That is that a natural gas? Is it kerosene?
They use it in camping stoves and lanterns. Coleman fuel. It's a very refined gasoline.
Okay. Here's the main area here. Got a lot of memorabilia down here. And then the ice cream counter. So now we are going to go into the other side of the museum, the second half. Take a look at the other cars in there. Over here. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is called a what now?
It's a Checker Aerobus, like the Checker cab company made them.
Checker Aerobus. It looks like a stretch limo, like an early form of a stretch limo. What were they used for most of the time?
Mostly airports and military bases. They made them from 1960, mid-60s to 1985, and they made about 3,500 of them total.
So this is to take people from the airport to their hotel rooms or their car rental places, that
Right.
kind of thing? Okay.
Before they started using the shuttles.
Right. That's fascinating. Oh, wow. What is this?
That's a 59 Austin Healey. That was raced in the 60s.
An Austin Healey. Raced in the 60s. Okay, speedometer over here. Okay, top speed of 100 miles an hour. I'm still looking at this motor here. It's a little two-cylinder, it looks like.
It's 4.
Oh, it's a 4. 2 on either side. Huh. Oh, you're going to start it up?
If it'll cooperate.
Oh, okay. You're pulling the choke. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it lives.
54 Willis Jeep.
A 54 Willis. See, I used to have an old CJ5.
That's a CJ3B.
Yeah, this it's a few generations before mine. This is an old flat fender. Let me think. Is this mostly Korean War this was used
This
in?
was the civilian version. But
Okay.
it would be after the Korean War.
Right after the Korean War?
I think it was over in '53, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. I had heard tell that these were actually built so cheap that after the war, they figured it would cost more to ship them back to America than the price of the Jeep, so a lot of them were just disposed of. Have you heard that?
No, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. There was a lot of them, supposedly, that were just put in neutral and rolled off the ship into the ocean. What is this here?
That's a '28 Model A Ford.
Huh. A 28 Model A. Boy, I bet this was a real chick magnet back in its day.
Have you ever heard of the Great Race?
No. Oh, wait, the Great Race. That's the one that goes all the way across the country, isn't it?
Yeah. We've done
Yeah.
this 6 times, I think. Last year we did Jacksonville to Traverse City, and this year we went from Buffalo, New York to Halifax, Nova Scotia, but I took a '59 Plymouth this year instead of this car.
The Great Race.
Well, this is the regular carburetor, but that's the supercharger.
Oh, that's the supercharger. Okay, so it helped with the air intake, give it more horsepower.
It just packed more air and fuel into the cylinder. It increased the horsepower for about 15 horsepower.
And so the auto critics loved it, but the buying public did not.
Correct.
So they only sold 3,500?
They've sold 4,500,
4,500.
about the same number in '39, and then they changed the designs in '40.
Okay, so that you said this is the 52 Hudson?
Yes.
52, and it even says Hornet right there. So, oh, and it's got the white wall tires. Very Radiator Springs. This is the same car that Doc was on the movie Cars. I almost expect to see little eyes on the windshield there.
The 2 air cleaners go to a carburetor each, and it's on a single intake manifold, and this was called Twin H Power, and it developed a lot more power than a single carburetor. That was their deal, to get a lot of speed out of them.
That was their advantage. Well, I'm back out here at work now, working the final day number 6 at the Old Fiddlers Convention. Got Anthony out here hanging out with me. So let's go ahead and close this one out. Please don't forget to smash that like button.
You need to like, comment, and subscribe. And follow Ashley on all social media.
Right.
Also, I'm going to encourage Ashley to get on Instagram more. Check out Ashley on Instagram. Ashley.Roland.10.
I need to get him. I need to get more active on Instagram.
Yes,
He's
he's
very
getting
right
more
about
active
that.
on that. Also, check out his like page on Facebook.
Which I haven't updated in years. That's something else I need to do.
He needs to update that.
And subscribe on YouTube, everybody, and hit that bell icon so that you'll start receiving notifications. Any last word on this one?
So, if you want to subscribe to me, check me out. I'm Lister's Mate 2, LISTERSMATE. I put the 2 at the end, and you'll find all my vlogs on there.
Love you guys very much, and I will see you again in the next one.